Yo, 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 give me just a second, y'all. I'm getting everything fired up and ready. It is another Friday and another great day to host an episode of Wonky Weekly Alpha. This is the 55th consecutive episode. I'm going to tweet it out here in a minute. I'm actually opening an Amazon package as I speak, and it might have some ability for me to hook up a better mic to what I'm doing right now. Oh shoot, no, it's the other package. I think I've got a package, like it's weird. Got multiple doors to this house, and they occasionally drop it off in the other one. And I think I've got another one. Actually, no, this is it. Okay. I'm gonna try to get it going, and we'll see if we can get better quality audio somewhere through the middle of this space.
Way to
Rooster, what's
flex,
going on, my
Kaleo.
man?
What's going on, man? Way to flex with having multiple doors and shit.
Oh yeah, multiple doors to a house. Complete flex, dude. Nah, dude,
No,
it's
yeah.
just it's a townhome setup. You got door on one side of the house, door on the other. That's it, bro. Just
Yeah, I got a back door too. I
no
got two doors too, so I'm not a
no
solo door.
sexy backyard, just a back door, and occasionally the people will drop it off there. So yeah, I know. Bear market flex having multiple doors to your house, but it exists.
I just entered this turbo long on Blur at 50 cents. So far,
Really?
my thesis, my thesis, super high leverage. It's like if it
Dude.
moves down a penny, if it moves down a penny, like I'm liquidated. But like we're up like 80%. we're up like
Oh
80%
my
right
gosh,
now.
dude.
So like,
The whole shitstorm in the market right now is absolutely insane, man. As far as like talking about potential black swan events, I feel like somehow this week has mustered several together all simultaneously. And it's just, before we had talked before about just the unlock with the Mount Gox stuff, or not the unlock, but the unlock with the staking, the Mount Gox Bitcoin, slowly being dispersed. And that in and of itself, I didn't think was enough to see kind of what we've seen and then the potential capitulation that can follow along with that after. But you combine that with, the Silk Road Bitcoin that was seized by the government back in, 21 or late 21, early 2022. It moved over to Coinbase, right? Even smaller things, and I say smaller things, but Voyager liquidating some of their assets to USD, which again, you can say, hey, it's only $50 million of ETH, but like $50 million of ETH to the sell side is still $50 million of ETH. Little things like that adding up, and then you've got obviously this. The silver, oh shoot, not silver. Well, obviously, yeah, the Silvergate issues as well. So, Silvergate in and of itself struggling. But then on top of that, the SVB stuff, which, SVB is another, like, dude, there's just so much trickle down that's happening. And on top of that, equities also look like shit because um, of how hawkish the Fed has continued to be. So you just have like all these things combining together for this shitstorm, and it's kind of crazy. But on the flip side of that, we're at our last hope and our last prayer level of support right now. So I still see it, from punting a long perspective. I think that it's a decent spot as far as kind of the risk reward to be able to punt a long here. But dude, if these levels give, I could see like a COVID type wick happening. But in the meantime, until they give, like no reason I think to be a doomer.
Dude, it's getting annoying, man, where I'm just GM by the way, but I'm like in a couple of chats and everyone is just I'm just like it like I still think being a doomer, like yeah, you got to be cautious, but like being a doomer at this point after everything that's happened, like I understand like the contagion risk. It's like if you can't pull your money out, like and then you have like bigger banks like, oh, we can't be part of this, because of systemic risk, and we won't, we like, and they pull out of like Gemini, and it's like you're all stuck in crypto, like it's not a bad thing. Like, what else are we gonna do? Like, where everyone's gonna stable up? Like, we're just gonna be trade. Like, there's gonna be no inflows probably, but I'm just like what things are gonna be like exponentially worse. So it's just like I don't know. Like, you gotta just stick with it, and it's just like it's everyone just loves to be a doomer. Like, it's insane, and it's like you really just zoom out, and it's just like we've been. I don't know. It's just so it's getting annoying. I'm like, just sack up. Come on, like grow a pair.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily I'm not a doomer in this point at all. Would I love a black swan to short into spot? Oh, that'd be a fucking dream. Honestly, I'll definitely keep some capital on the sidelines in case that does happen. But yeah, no, definitely not a doomer at these levels for sure. I agree. Except on Machi's bags because a dude owns a quarter of the Gitcoins and
you probably
he's just
shouldn't
toast.
buy 30% of an
Bro,
NFT collection.
break down what's happening there a little bit more for me, because
Yeah.
I feel like Machi has an understanding at this point that what he's doing just does not feel like a very high alpha move. And it just, like, I don't know if there's something hidden that nobody's picking up on with his strategy there, but
no, I thought about it every which way. Like, even if you had like huge edge, you would never buy that much of the supply because there's like kind of no way you would unwind it unless you had like Pranksy had 1,500 apes. The only way he got out of that position is just Bored Ape like blew up. Like there's no like that was the only way he could have gotten out of having 1,500 apes. Having like what does he have like 2,700 of the 9,200 like NFTs. Like I thought about it. So if he had alpha, it's dumb because he sized up way too much. Um, the other end is like, oh, you want like, oh, I need to cost average or whatever. It's like, okay, that's way too insane to cost it. Like he would have done it lower and like not that way. And the only other thing I could think of is farming, but that doesn't make sense either because he's not. I've run a couple of models and like I don't know, maybe I'm within like a 10% plus or minus margin of error, but he's not going to make that money back off the points. Like he'll make good money, but he's not going to be making that off that collection. So I was
but
thinking
even
like he's
so,
going to
is there
watch
going to be
it.
the liquidity to absorb that type
That
of,
exactly.
if he
He'll just
wanted to dump it all at whatever?
Yeah, he can just
I
wash it to himself and burn money, but that's way too much money, and he's never going to make it back. And it's also one of the variables is the daily volume, is how many points you get. So he can't sustain thousands of ETH of volume a day by himself, and doing it on low volume like is a waste. You're burning money already that way, so it just doesn't. I actually don't know what that guy's doing. Tax write off,
Yeah,
maybe. That's the only other thing I can
he's
think
in
of is
way
a
too
tax
deep.
write off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude spent over
he's
1,000
taking a
ETH
fat
on
L.
these Gitcoins so far, and
Yeah.
he's trying to farm a token that's down like 60% from at the high in just a couple
Dude,
weeks.
it's a worthless like
And
open edition. That it's like a worthless open edition. I've analyzed every kind of like angle, and it's a loss on every unless like that's the thing. I don't unless it's like the craziest alpha of all time, which I just don't think he has. I just like what would it be? You know what I mean? Like I don't
yeah,
think Vitalik. I don't
he's
know.
in Vitalik's DMs every day, begging him to like just tweet something, like anything. There's one time Vitalik tweeted about an NFT and it rocketed from like point 0.2 to like 12 ETH within like a couple days. So it's
Yeah.
just a hail mary. Like that's literally the only thing that's gonna save him. If that's like
Yeah,
Vitalik's
it's
only
probably
tweet
such he
over the
thinks that
last
it's
four
such a
months.
crazy move, but he's just like literally giving everyone point 0.4 ETH. I don't know. Like that's what
Well,
he's
the
doing.
floor is 0.3 now. His infinite bid wall is no longer there because the floor is now 0.3. So, dude's toast. Or at least 1,000 ETH is toast.
Am I
I
like
mean,
zero IQ because I thought it would be a good idea to buy? I literally was thinking yesterday at some point. I'm like, wait, should I buy a couple of these? Like, is that just the dumbest thing ever? And I'm like, yeah, that probably is the dumbest thing ever. You always have to think though, like, right? You can't just like everyone's so quick to like make fun of someone or whatever, but you have to analyze something, and
Well,
then if you come to that same conclusion after that, then that's fine.
Bog, you never want to be the main character, and I feel like it's a small subset, right? But I feel like Machi has fully made himself the main character in the NFT space right now.
Yeah, dude. Also, I kind of like. I
Wait, how is
respect it.
Bog not the main character when he's trading watches?
Bro, you don't want Bog to be the main
I don't
character.
want to be
That's
the main
not a
character.
good
I don't
thing for
want
you.
to be the
You
main
don't
character.
want to
I
be the
don't
main
want.
character.
I do not want to.
It's good to be a well-respected character, but you don't want to be the main character.
Yeah, look what happened with Gainsey in the betting. Like don't want the smoke. Don't
Wait,
want
what
the
happened
smoke.
with Gainesy? Oh, are you talking about like the
The
backlash?
Estro stuff. Like he was the main character over the weekend. Everyone was just giving him
Wait,
shit because of
okay.
those bets.
I was going to say break down outside. Like I saw people shitting on Gainesy a little bit with the like there was somebody basically that posted some type of article saying, "Hey, like this is paper trading." Right, like trying to go through all of that. Was there something deeper than that went down as far as the Gainesy drama?
That was essentially it, right? They're just saying that or they're saying like Rollbit like backed him on those huge bets, and he wasn't doing it with his own money. And then he's like, dude, just check the chain, and like he was like, yeah, I'll escrow like 10 grand, like give it to like I forgot who was like stepping in to do it for him, but he's like, yeah, if you toss in 10 grand, I'll show you like everything, and like no one really, no one wanted to do it,
Well,
but.
bro, here's the deal. Gainesy has a lot of money, but he has that via various methods that. Well, either way, like nobody that I know in the world has enough money to sustain that type of betting consistently because you're like there aren't many people out there in the world that really have enough of an edge with a system that they've found to be able to apply that and continuously beat the house, especially at that type, those type of numbers. So it like,
Yeah.
the odds are just simple. If you're those type of hands, like you're going to be drained pretty quickly. And, so I just went into it always assuming that it was just bullshit numbers. I'm like, Gainesy's just being Gainesy. So I'm like, I don't give a shit, right? Like, that's my whole thing. When somebody kind of outed him, and I get Gainesy defending it, I still think Gainesy's just Gainesy one way or the other. And so I think it's kind of funny. But, like I get why people were shitting on it. I understand it because there's just something about the math that doesn't add up, but more
Yeah,
power
I
to
mean
him.
$400,000 bets every night. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't care enough. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I feel like it's whatever. And I just stay away from sports betting because it can be really addictive, and there is no edge. So it's like it's so negative EV, and it's like the rush you get, I get it, but like you're just addicted.
Bro, even the there are guys out there you can like pay for the cappers, right? And like it's not. I've seen guys that I know that are really good with math and really good with those type of like and they still, they'll go to the best cappers and they'll run, they'll backdate all the math and they'll do everything else, plug it into spreadsheets. And, like I had a buddy that, he put together just a small, like $10,000 little fund. I mean, Hondo's gonna laugh at this because we both we both just gave the buddy a little bit of money, and like I love the guy, and like he's smart, and, he had a good system with it going into it, but I think both of us realized whenever we gave it to him, there was zero expectation for ever getting that money back. But it was also one of those things where the guy, like, sent out a weekly report, sent out his strategy, sent out exactly what the equity curve was, all that type of stuff along with this, much more calculated than what you're seeing, and inevitably basically went to zero. So, like, and that was over the course, like, I don't think Gainesy even does it by calculating units, right? Like, a good sports bettor is going to sit there and like say, rather than
Gainesy
say, I
is
just,
just like Washington. That's a shitty city. Bet we're fading it
yeah,
tonight.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Rather
he's
than
trolling
saying like
everyone.
I'm betting $300,000, he'll say like I'm betting X amount of units on this, and like that's it just So he's got zero. So there's something off with it. So that's why I never really like took it too seriously. So they're like, good for whoever's exposing him. But like, if you had any common sense, you knew it was what it was to begin with. So
yeah, but it's just like funny, like, you know what I mean? It's like entertainment. You're like that, like it doesn't. I don't know. I think people take things too seriously too. Like, yeah, it's whatever if he's LARPing about it. Who cares, right? Like, it's at the end of the day, it's like I think people care about other people too much. I mean, he is putting it out in the public, of course.
I've always followed Gainsey for the character, not for the alpha.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
So that's the thing. That's why I'm not upset with it. But yeah, no, that is funny. So I didn't realize he went full main character mode over the weekend. But yeah, no, I feel like Machi's in that spot with the NFT space right now, and it almost feels like he's spiraling a little bit, doubling down on these bets. But
yeah, you should have done like multiple different wallets. I feel like you don't want to be that guy. You're just a target at that point.
Bro, between that and the DeFi apes, like Jesus Christ. Oh man.
Pump those so hard.
DeFi apes.
Yeah, I think it's his project. He has like a couple hundred of them, but like you should see like the most inorganic volume I've ever seen. It went from like 0.03 to 0.7. I'm like, oh, I wonder how that happened. But dude, I think those guys, I've noticed the big farming technique is they just buy up a dead collection and then they just wash trade with each other. Like that's what I've been studying this. Like I've legitimately been studying this because I think there's alpha there, and that's my alpha to everyone this week. I'll just go ahead and say it. I probably shouldn't, but if you
here's the secret, Bog. You can give that type of alpha because the majority of people on here aren't actually going to go through and execute on it, and then even the ones that actually will give it out or will execute probably don't have the size that it'll make a difference.
That's true.
Well,
okay,
if you guys want
so
if you guys want to
tell them to watch
piss
trade
tornadoes,
Stonks.
I have piss tornadoes.
So piss tornadoes is the alpha.
Yeah.
No, but so I think on last Saturday I like painstakingly with a buddy, like we took all the numbers from the leaderboard, the total leaderboard, put them in a spreadsheet, right, for the top 500, and then we just kind of averaged it out. I think the top 500 average is like 160 points per person total, and that was like 20 days into it. And then you divide it per day and you extrapolate it out to 60, 90, 120 days, and then you alter the price of Blur, where I think it'll be like probably between like 25 and like 40 cents, is like in that range. It's a big range, but you can kind of do the math, figure out what the Blur per point will be. Based on the amount of points that are out there total, and with the margin of error, like probably plus or minus 10%, it's actually worth it to farm if you have enough size, and you can find and you can kind of pick a collection. I'm not going to say where I'm doing it because I mean you can probably figure it out on your own, but I just don't want to get like I'm giving way too much now. But I'm doing it in piece, and what I'm burning per day towards what I'm earning 10x what I'm burning per day. If my numbers are even and I'm like with the current numbers of like where it's at, I'll make 20 times my money, but we all know it's going lower. So I'm looking at Blur realistically at 30 cents and about 30 Blur per point, 30 to 40 Blur per point. It was 42 Blur per point season 1. I think it'll be skewed probably towards about 30. And you could just play with the numbers, right? Just create a financial model, edit some stuff. And we did that for a couple hours, and my buddy, he's a little bit younger and he's a math whiz, and I think, and the top 500 is pretty accurate. Like those people are farming per day. It's a 24-hour concurrent thing, so you're going to have the majority of the heavy hitters on there, and you can tell too by like if you create a new account and see how many people that are actually like earning points per day. You'll see kind of like roughly where you are. If you create a new wallet, earn 1 point, you see like how many people are doing it, and you could really get in the weeds. But like I said, you don't really have to do that. You could stick to the top 500 and do the math, and I think it's still worth it. And everyone is fading it. I'm going to do a whole thread about this in a month because everyone's going to forget about it now, and I'm just going to laugh at everyone just dooming and glooming, and meanwhile I'm just here. And even if ETH goes down another 10-20%, I'm still going to make 5 times my money. So I've
I'd burn
accounted
like
for these
5
things.
ETH. And I
Yeah,
burnt like 5 ETH,
yeah.
and I got like fucking 50 points right now.
Oh,
So
yeah. That's the thing. You have to.
I've been exit liquidity
I have
for
more
the
edgy
farmers.
too. Like, and I'm not going to give that away. My secret sauce, but I found a way to do it relatively safely. Um, but yeah, I think it is worth it. Um, and I am going to write a big thread about that if I'm successful. If not, I'm just not. I'm going to eat an L. But I think it's going to be. I think it's worth the risk right now.
PP, welcome up, my man. What's going on?
See, I actually had a question for Bogfather. Bogfather, what would you say would be a good amount of ETH to farm with? Like 1 ETH, 5 ETH, 10 ETH? If someone wanted to get into it, has no idea what they're doing.
I'm doing it with 125 right now.
Oh, yeah, cool. That's exactly the amount I was shooting for,
But you
except not at all.
even you can do it safely with about like 15 to 20. And you're not going to do it the typical. I'll just tell you what I'm doing, PP. I'll DM you.
Yeah. I was asking for 99% of the people in here who are working with like
Oh,
0.01 ETH in their wallet.
well, yeah, like it's not feasible. Yeah, there's no secret there. It's not feasible. This is more so like you have to have some size for this. Um, and it's a good way. Like I think they've actually kind of nullified that. Like you're not gonna that you can't just do it with like two. And maybe you can, but I haven't found a way to do it with like a small amount of ETH. You have to. I mean, you're probably better off trading at that point, right? Like people that were trying to do that with those like Gitcoin or the owls. You're better off just flipping and making money, and building a stack and then farming. But you should always be if you have a large stack and you're not doing anything in the meantime, you might as well be farming right now. And large, even with 10 ETH, like I think you're going to be okay. Um, because like even if you're
Farm
getting
stonks right
10% of
now.
what I'm getting per day, it's still really nice. Is all I'm going to say, and the numbers make sense. But anything under 10, probably not worth it. But not with the way I'm doing it at least.
All right, I'm going to need a lesson soon. A
Yeah,
one-on-one
Bog,
lesson.
write up something for the
Hop into the
Abashas.
Abasha
Yeah.
voice chat, and I'll break it down. That's the
What?
Abasha. That's the alpha you get in Abasha.
Hey,
Yeah, I actually got a meeting. I got to hop off here, but love you guys. I hope this market doesn't ruin your weekend. Y'all have a good one.
all right, take it easy, man. Rooster, Bog, you guys are gonna laugh your ass off at me. So I bought two different adapters for different setups. One, I'm actually getting really close, I think, to like I sat down and spent a shit ton of time learning more about the Rodecaster Pro finally. So I've got it really close to being able to just fully get up, running, go, and I'm pretty positive use it with Twitter Spaces. Well, there was an adapter that I needed for, well, two different adapters. One of them I got correct with it, but then the other I ended up effing up, and the other was an important one. I had to have both. Well, then as a backup, I bought another adapter for my old mic that was just USB. So I bought like a USB. I thought that it had to be USB to USB-C, but it was USB to Lightning that I needed to be able to get to my phone for just like that off the, whatever, the mini mic. So I completely effed that one up also. So both of the different mic setups
Such a
that I
fucking
thought
boomer
I was
move.
going to have as options for today, I bought wrong adapters for. So
I do
yeah.
that. I'm terrible with technology, so I'm not even gonna laugh at you because that's some shit I would do, honestly.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like I got them
collect.
both, and I was hyped when this package got here because I was like, okay, this is I am going to be up and running on one of these things during today's space, experimenting with it. And now I'm pissed because I can't do either.
Yeah, that's such a disappointing feeling when you expect to have something and then
Yeah.
you
Because
rug
I've done
yourself.
yes, like I've done all the research going into it, and it's one of those things where you get to a certain point in a video where you can't do anything more. until you have the equipment to do it. So like I thought I ordered everything correctly for both of these different options to be able to improve audio quality, get everything else up and going for all this, because really wanted, I'm like, I've got most of the gear, most of the expensive stuff. There's no reason to go ahead and not just focus on getting this stuff down now, because like, the bear market's the time to do it, dude, right? The bear market's the time to get all of this stuff fine-tuned, learn the ins and the outs of everything, so that like when things are really up and going, you've knocked like all this time-intensive stuff out of the way. Your game's already sharp. Well, I effed myself over, so I got to push it off a little bit longer.
Yeah,
It
if you
looks like
weren't
we
a
got some time to
72-year-old
kill,
boomer.
though.
Yeah, the boomer side's killing me. So, Rooster, are you definitely going to South by Southwest? Bog, are you going?
I
Yeah,
can't
I'll be
miss
there.
South by Southwest. I actually got an invite to go to this cool thing at NFTLA, and I can't do it because I have to go back to New York, help my mom out again. But I got invited to this really cool thing from like one of the guys who's like creating a project.
So here's the deal, Rooster. Wait, Bog, you cut out for a second.
All good. Yeah, I got a call. No worries.
Here's the deal, Rooster. I'm still happy to go. I told 80s that I will show up. I'm not sure what days yet, like crossing over, but I'll show up for a bit. But I just want you to understand what you will be doing to this market if I do show up. My
I'll
strike.
have the shorts lined up already. Like you,
Okay, I was gonna
you
say
didn't
my
like my
hit rate.
original comment, so I don't think you've seen it. But I told you when you posted that to just, use your nuts and don't bet against yourself and short like the rest of us are. And I guess you didn't do it.
No, I did
And
not.
look at this green dildo on Blur right now. It's only a micro dildo, but that makes me up like over 100% at the moment. So
Hey, I'll say this, Rooster. So like my, I think my official Bybit like trading for the competition account, the DGen one that you like deposit the $200 on. I'm officially down on that one. I think 96% for that $200. So I need to I can re-up myself into the competition pretty easily. Just inject like a few $100 and I'm back in the debt. Like that's why you start so low with something like that. But
yesterday,
that's the alpha with those competitions. You start super low, and you have to be a complete, like if you're gonna win that type of shit, you have to be a complete DGen. So you do the DGen type of shit. But yeah, no, my DGen type of shit on that completely like if I'm not in last place, I am near last place with that thing. So I'll make my comeback.
Literally yesterday, I think Vlad was number one as of yesterday with like a 80% return so far. But yeah, my account took so many swings. I did what you did. I just threw in $200 whenever I got back from LA. And yesterday, I saw a swing to up 50%, to down 40, to then up 60% again, and then I ended the day like down 50%. And so we're making it back right now, boys.
Love to hear, man. Hey, I'll be transparent about it. I don't care. Point being, I missed that shit. I should have done what you said, and I should have known going into it and just completely bet with the market, turbo nuked everything on the fact that I was going to anything conference related. But I swear, man, if I show up to this thing, I will have my shorts loaded. There's no other way around it, because right now the strike rate is 100% that the days that I am attending any type of crypto in real life events. And South by Southwest, I get it. It's not really crypto in real life. So maybe there'll be an exception there. But I'm meeting up with y'all, which is in and of itself, I think, enough of a tie that it'll have some type of effect.
Just, because it's not directly correlated, I wouldn't I'd size accordingly. Right. It's gonna be the one time where you're like, all right, I'm gonna switch it up, and then just because it's not directly correlated, it's gonna go against you again.
Maybe so. We'll see, man. I don't know. It's it'll be interesting, but it'll be nice to meet, hang out, finally meet a few more of the Stonk family. Surprisingly, 80s is actually the only person that I've met in person. Well, I guess D Hut's also, right? That I've met in person from the Stonk crew. So it'll be good to hang out, meet a few more of y'all. Again, not sure exactly what day yet. I got to figure out that whole thing and then get in on it. But I'll definitely be there for a little bit. So it'll be fun vibing, hanging out with the fam. And hopefully the market doesn't take a shit before then. But, what we really need, Rooster, all I'm saying is, before I end up going to that thing, we just really need some type of a bounce to give ourselves some type of breathing room above this like higher time frame support that we're sitting on right now, so that like the market can absorb whatever minor sell off there is while I'm visiting y'all. That's all I'm praying for.
Yeah, I my size inside the market right now is not any insane amount at all. So I'm okay with volatility in either direction and always happy to buy spot lower. So I don't really care as long as we don't chop 2% sideways for the next like year. I am
Yeah.
completely okay with
Honestly,
that.
that's my thesis. And like, how bullish would that be for NFTs? It wouldn't be super bullish because there's no new inflows, but people are still going to gamble. The money that's still in there, there's still going to be shit being released. Like, I think it'll be. I mean, maybe like last year, that wasn't really too fun, but there was still stuff popping off. Um, but I think you're going to see like more of a rotation to value over that time. If that's the case, it'll just be like a more prolonged version of that. But there's always money to be made now. I'm convinced the market's so big and there's just so many things going on that, you know, like if you're in, I think really just being in the right community and seeing that, like seeing what other people are buying and, and being first, like that's kind of what matters. But I'm not overly like pessimistic because I mean honestly like I don't think anything will ever be worse than like the 2018 bear market when we were just using like 25x leverage on BitMEX trying to make it back on like the tightest like range ever. Like that was
Yeah.
On like the $100 swing.
that was so bad, dude. That was and like you'd be so happy. Like that was
Bro, if Bitcoin moved up $100, you were like, this is it, right? Like shit is happening right now.
Dude, no, we were playing like the lot like we would have like 10% swings up or down like the liquidations. Like I remember like in 2019, early 2019, like just crazy swings, man. And it was just like playing roulette and like the sit like on it like you'd short it like right near support it would fall like 30% and like everyone would get liquidated and it was we were just literally gambling back then.
Yeah, bro. I just remember sitting there watching, the price for hours, and it's like, okay, it's 68.50 now, 68.50, back down to 68.50. Like, which wall is going to win first? 2 hours later, looking at it, holy shit, we just got to move to 68.54. Some whale stepped in and pushed it up a full $2, like $4. So like. And that like those little $4 tiny candles gave you adrenaline because you're like, shit's happening, right? We're eating into this wall.
Yeah, dude, I remember being so hyped like the day like the Pokemon movie came out. I wasn't hyped. I just don't remember because like it hit like we went up like 10% and I had like a huge like long open. I just you remember your wins and then you also got I'm sure everyone got liquidated at least once on BitMEX, but that's you got to learn all those mistakes in a bear market. I think now people gambling like I'm never gonna put myself in that position again, but I had zero risk management back then. Not that I don't think it's even better now. I just moved to animal pictures where you don't get liquidated, but yeah, you still get liquidated. You just get you get liquidated by illiquidity.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make enough money to become the Wonky Stonks.
Love to hear it, man.
That'll be the goal.
Hey, maybe if ETH dips down enough and you're in USD, you'll be able to do it easily anyway. Hey, I will say
Yeah,
something cool at the
that's the
Stonks
thing.
yesterday. I wore the hoodie. There was at least one person that saw the hoodie, and because that conference is actually freezing inside, so needed the hoodie either way. And I had one person that came up and they were like, "You won't believe this, but that's the one project back in the day." They're like, "I'm not a big NFT person, but that was the one project that I actually really liked and thought about." And they said, "I didn't even know that you were involved with that." They were like, it was because it was something different with the charts, with everything with that. So the stock's got a little bit of love.
I moved my stop on Blur. At first, I entered the long with like zero stop at all, and if it went down a cent, there went the rest of that the challenge account, or at least that reload. And yeah, so I just moved it to 50% in the profits, and I got stopped out now. So close the trade like 54% profit.
I'm not gonna lie, Jensen. we need some type of balance here.
Oh yeah, it's looking bad.
I'm look at the S&P 500 where it is, and I'm like, okay, we really need something to come back from this. And I was looking at it yesterday too at that conference. I'm like, damn, this is before it dropped to where it ended up dropping down to. I got Crypto Jack to go with me, so we were sitting there kind of BSing, looking through some of the charts on in between some of the panels, and I just here's my thing. What I really hope this doesn't turn into, it just looks like, first off, the setup on a little bit higher of a time frame for Bitcoin looks really similar to where we were in November, for instance, with the FTX setup, where it ended up breaking back down through that retest of the higher time frame support and a big capitulation with lower. Same exact type thing in 2019, or not 2019, but 2020. We had that breakout in January of 2020 from that higher time frame trend, retested it in March of 2020, and then COVID hit, lost that support, wick down, and then both of these situations, you basically effectively saw a V back from the lows, but it swept the previous lows from where they were before. So that's the type of scenario I could see where, heck, I'll BS on here and say it. If we lose that, I could see something dipping down to the 12K area. I really could. And, I didn't want to be in that boat, but if this level goes, I could see capitulation, real capitulation happening. So I'm really hoping against it, but I'm just in that position right now where I'm like, okay, pray this holds, because again, if it holds, decently high, the upside potential is pretty high from here, and you could look at it from that type of scenario. If you're saying if you want to punt along, I think the stop is relatively tight. If it hits down on the 19K area, I think that it's gonna sweep the lows lower than that. So you can keep it relatively tight here, and the upside, you're still looking. I guess if you really do see a bounce across the markets, maybe back to the mid to high 20s, maybe it does even carry out to that 30K path. But point being, when you're looking at equities and it just, both of them are struggling right now to hold the line. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
Hopefully we avoid this shit storm and we don't deal with it. But we're here either way. We're riding, boys. It is what it is. So,
I agree 110%. My thesis is, if we don't hold these levels, I'm going to load up the leverage cannon and start shorting exchange tokens. I think if we do break below these levels, I think that there's going to be some serious money during the sweeping of the lows to short some of these exchanges. Just get the rest of the weed killer out there and shave off the rest of the bad hairs and fucking then finally bounce after we see true capitulation.
Yeah. So Anyway, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see one way or the other. But one way or the other, what will continue to happen, where we will be next week, we will be right here, same time, same place. Um, and like the stocks will continue like to vibe and thrive and survive through all this shit one way or the other, right? Like that's the thing, right? Like there are other projects that maybe they need the market to maintain a certain price, they need whatever else to happen, they need that inflow. Like the stocks are going to continue to survive whatever shitstorm, whether market goes up, down, whatever. We'll be here because I'm going to be here, and I know y'all will be too. So we'll be here for week number 56 next week. And I apologize, I do have to cut today a little bit short. I've got a lot of people coming in town and crashing with me tonight, and I've got a lot of things to do to get ready for them to get here. But appreciate you gents for joining up here. Rooster, I'm excited to see you next week, except for the effect that I know it's inevitably going to have on the market and the pain and the turmoil that it's going to cause everyone on here. The cost of that, just know what you've done for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people across the world. But hey, if it's worth it for you, it's worth it.
That's why you just don't be long at these levels, right? Wait for the confirmation. We're giving you the alpha right now that you have your opportunity to short. If you counter trade that and it goes against you, that's 100% on you, 110% on you.
All right, so you got the alpha. You heard it here first. Hey, maybe I'll be able to be up there on Friday and we can do a live Wonky Weekly Alpha with the Room 110 crew.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
So we will see. But gents, again, appreciate it. And I will see y'all this next week. Take it easy.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right, later, guys. Have a good one.